Moving in our brand new stadium, Lucas Moura's winner against Ajax, or Heung-min Son's superb goal against Burnley. The fans' favourite memories of 2019. Welcome back to another video. Now, as 2019 draws to a close, there are lots of memories of 2019 that us Tottenham fans can be very, very proud of. Of course, back in January, Tottenham was still playing at Wembley Stadium. We moved into our brand new stadium. First competitive game was in April. The 3rd of April, Heung-min Son scored that first ever goal against Crystal Palace, that first competitive goal at the new stadium. And then, of course, that night in Amsterdam, 2-0 down, looked dead and buried, and then Lucas Moura got that hat-trick. An amazing night. I just cannot tell you how I felt when that third goal went in. I thought I was dreaming. I just could not believe it. Even the next day when I woke up, I still thought I was dreaming. It was just an unbelievable feeling. Never ever thought that I would see Tottenham in a Champions League final. Even though we lost the Champions League final, that was still a fantastic day, occasion that I will never ever forget. Of course, now Jose Mourinho is our manager. Mauricio Pochettino has left the club after 5.5 years in charge. I'll always have very, very fond memories of him. And then, of course, a couple of weeks ago, Heung-min Son scored that amazing goal against Burnley in that 5-0 Premier League home win. Absolutely fantastic moment and a true highlight of 2019. Anyway, I have asked a number of Tottenham fans to give me their favourite memories of 2019. This is part 1 of 2, so do look out for the other video in the next couple of days. Please put all of your favourite memories in the comment section below. Come on, you Spurs.
My favourite Spurs moment of 2019 has to be Lucas Moura's hat-trick against Ajax to send us through to the Champions League final. I still can't believe it happened against every odd. Oh, it was just incredible. Absolute carnage when that goal went in. Also, another one, Sonny's goal against Burnley was also pretty special.
Favourite Spurs moment of 2019 for me? I'm not picking the obvious one, that wonderful night in Amsterdam, but the first actual game at the new stadium, the under-18 test match against Southampton. I'd been lucky enough to get into that stadium 3 or 4 times whilst it was being built and realised what an incredible stadium it was going to be, but to see players on the pitch, the grass down for the first time, and to experience the noise that about a third of the capacity of the stadium made that night was wonderful. And of course the other highlight of 2019 was running around my hometown picture Stevenage with Chris talking about all things Tottenham whilst he was doing his tour of the grounds. That was a special moment for me.
My favourite Spurs memory of 2019 is, let's be honest, it's going to be the #1 memory for all fans looking back at last year. There's no point being clever or different or thinking, was it anything that matched it? We all know what it was. It was Lucas Moura, final goal against Ajax in Amsterdam, the goal that took us to our very first Champions League final. My memory was that I'd had a flight, accommodation, everything for Amsterdam, but I didn't have a guaranteed ticket. And I thought, do I want to go away to Amsterdam? I was quite busy with work. And I went, you know what, I'll watch it with family. So I ended up staying at home, watching it with my father. And at 2-0 down, it was like sitting there going, well, you know what, I'm actually glad I didn't go now. All that way, probably watched it in a bar somewhere in central Amsterdam, and just, you know, it's just, we've done well to get this far. No one thought we'd get to this moment. And even when we got the first goal in the second half, there was not one iota of thought that, or we can get back into this. It was like, well, you know, at least it's a bit more respectable and whatever. Obviously, when the second one went in, you then start going, wait a minute, if we did get one more, that would mean. And if you remember the game, it wasn't like it was all one-sided. They were still getting lots and lots of chances. But when that goal went in, I fell to my knees and my voice changed into a high-pitched whine, that of a sort of 8-year-old. And I just lay on the floor going, we did it! We did it! We did it! We did it! That was all that could come out of my body at that moment. And the other incredible thing in the game, when you think about it, it wasn't the last kick of the game. There was still injury time. The fact that Pochettino and all the coaching staff had run on the pitch like it was into the game, it wasn't. The players had to sort of, you know, there was a kick-off again and had to compose themselves. And I'm sure Ajax had a half-decent chance even before the end of the game. But it was just such elation for many, many Spurs fans. We've come so close to amazing moments in key games. And obviously we've won many, many trophies, but obviously not in recent years. To come back like that, and again, this was the day after the incredible Liverpool comeback against Barcelona, when we sort of thought, well, yeah, we're not going to do that, are we? That's what's made that moment a moment that, not so much the greatest moment of 2019, probably the greatest one moment, one goal of my entire Tottenham going life.
Hi there, I'm Andy Costa, and my favourite Spurs memory of 2019 has to be the comeback against Ajax to get us to the Champions League final. What a game that was! Lucas Moura just was unbelievable, and it was very, very exciting to know that we'll be playing Liverpool in the Champions League final. But as you know, the rest was history.
My favourite Spurs moment of 2019 is quite a simple choice for me. There's quite a few moments in our history through 2019, from the Champions League games against Manchester City and, you know, in the semi-final, coming back from 3-0 down. Emotions were on both of those games. Down 1 minute, on my knees, punching the floor in anger and frustration and sadness, and then the euphoria of Lucas Moura bagging the late goal. But for me, the game of the moment was more recently in the 7th of December, when we thrashed Burnley 5-0. And there were some very good moments in there, wonderful moments and memorable moments. Kane's 2 amazing goals, Sissoko bagging his own. But for me, the one moment that made it my favourite moment was Son's amazing goal. From the moment he picked that ball up in the first half, you kind of had that sense that he was going to create something. He was either going to assist the goal or he was going to score it. It was just incredible just to watch that surging run, skipping past one player, skipping past the next player, surging on and tucking the ball away. Absolutely amazing. And so, yeah, that's the reason that goes down as my favourite moment of 2019.
So my favourite Spurs memory of 2019 would have to be the Champions League semi-final against Ajax, where Lucas Moura scored a last-minute winner, a last-minute goal to put us through to the final. It was so unexpected, and throughout the whole game we were chasing, we were so close, and for him to just finish it in the end was absolutely sensational, and the composure and the finish of the goal was insane, and I will just never ever forget how I felt in that moment. I was so shocked. It was disbelief, joy. I remember who I was watching it with and how we all felt in that moment. We were just so happy, and it just shows how football can bring so many people so much joy. And yeah, that was one of my favourite moments. I'll never forget it, and I just love Tottenham for it.
My favourite Spurs moment of 2019 would have to be our first home game back at our new stadium when we spanked Crystal Palace 4-0. Yeah, that was a good day in our new stadium, winning. Come on, you Spurs.
My favourite memory from 2019. I've had a brilliant year. Do you know, the Spurs supporters are so welcoming, and it's just been a wonderful year all the way around. There's been highs, there's been lows, but I'll take every bit of it, and it's actually been wonderful. We say farewell to Potts, thank you very much. We'll say hello to Jose, thank you very much. But it's just been brilliant, and roll on 2020.
My favourite memory of 2019 wasn't so much Lucas Moura's goal in Amsterdam. It was waking up on the morning of the Champions League final, the pride we felt, the feeling of, wow, we're in a Champions League final, when it had really sunk in. The whole build up to the kick-off. I think just the feeling of, I mean, I wasn't in Madrid, but I went over to White Hart Lane, and the fantastic memories of that day, of the trip over there, the sight at Liverpool Street Station of thousands of Spurs fans mingling around, the pride of wearing that shirt across London, the feeling I was pre-match in the Antwerp Arms where we went, and the fantastic weather. It was just a day that you can never forget. And okay, it went against us, but we didn't know what was going to happen when we was in that build-up. And I can remember walking down from the Antwerp Arms into Tottenham High Road, and I have never, ever seen Tottenham High Road like that. So I think that would be it, that just the build-up and that feeling, the emotion, the passion and the pride that we had on the morning of the Champions League final.
Favourite Spurs memory from 2019, and obviously I'm going to go with the semi-final second leg in the Champions League against Ajax in Amsterdam. And obviously the final in the Champions League didn't quite go as planned. However, I still think that the emotions and just the roller coaster that we felt during that 90 minutes of football was simply spectacular, and the way that we managed to seal our place in the final was something that was very, very, very special. And I definitely feel like it's a memory that's not going to go away anytime soon. So yeah, 2019, obviously the away form hasn't been the best, but we seem to be recuperating, we seem to be rebuilding. So onwards and upwards, I say. I'm always going to keep the faith. But yeah, my favourite memory from 2019 was definitely the second leg against Ajax.